If you learn to really look at your landscape and interpret what you're seeing, you can find all sorts of interesting objects that are going to need your attention come spring or even later in the winter months. Let's start with one of the hydrangeas. This happens to be Annabelle. And if you look closely, you'll see that this twig in my hand, even though it is dormant, is still one that is nice and green. On the other hand, from the same plant, we have a twig that is obviously a different color and hollow. This one's dead. These will need to be removed off of any plants in your landscape that have dead material. Then we have euonymus, and we have all sorts of issues associated not just with the seed production, but also with winter desiccation of the broadleaf evergreen leaves. And if you look really closely, you will see little tiny scale insects on this plant, which is the bane of a lot of euonymus. If we look at this Austrian pine, you'll notice that we have a decent terminal bud here. We have some remains of some pretty nasty stuff going on further down on the branch. And this is a tree that has had all sorts of tip blight issues as well as poor growing conditions. A lot of people will find twigs in their landscape that look like this, and they wonder what this is. Well, this has fallen off of a tree from way up high. It happens to be a honey locust, and this is the fungus among us that is doing its job and getting rid of the dead tissue. But that also indicates that you probably have some cankers going on. Look high in the tree or along the branches of the tree to see whether there is some dead and diseased wood that really needs to be removed. And of course, we end up with a lot of questions on Backyard Farmer and on this show that have to do with all sorts of wounding that occurred on the trunk of a tree that ends up not compartmentalizing properly. This is a perfect example of that. If you see these kinds of wounds on your tree, you need to take advantage of the expertise that we offer. We'll tell you what to do about it, and in many instances, that might be you get to start planning for a new tree.